The message that I want to share with you today, brothers and sisters, is taken from the Hosea. This is one of the other passages that I read on page 54. And I'll be honest with y'all, if you notice, I've been in the Hosea for the last few weeks, and I'm loving it. Excuse me. The reason why I'm loving it so is because the Hosea, in fact, I've actually been teaching, actually just reading from the Hosea in our Wednesday night sessions online as well. The Hosea is the writings from our ancestors that come from the Nile Valley Africans. I love the teachings because these are wise sayings, words on how to live, words on how to become more productive, more successful in life. What I also appreciate about the teachings from the Hosea is it's not doctrinal. It's truth. Everybody say doctrine and truth are two different things. You see, truth is what it is. Truth is that which is consistent with fact and reality. Doctrine, as we familiar with from most churches, is nothing more than a statement of belief for the purpose of controlling the behavior of the culture of that organization. And that's why when you join a lot of churches, you have to understand their doctrine. And what's really deep about it is we become indoctrinated, which means when an organization takes their statement of belief and puts it into your head. So they have what's called a statement of belief or statement of faith. We don't have that here at the Afrikan Village. The reason why we don't have it here at the Afrikan Village is because the best statement of faith that you can have is the spirit within you. Did y'all get what I just said? In other words, brothers and sisters, I'm trying to return us back to where we were before we had books to read. When we lived by our intuition. When the universe spoke to us. And when we were out of balance with the universe by things we thought, said, or did, the universe would speak to our spirit and say, We didn't need anybody to tell us yay or nay. We didn't need a list of codes and standards and do's and don'ts to live by. But when the invaders came into our motherland and snatched away our culture and misdirected us from our spirituality, we became confused. We took on their way of living, and they have to live synthetically. You follow what I'm saying? In other words, they have to write down what you can and cannot do. Y'all ain't hearing me. Africans don't live like that. Africans listen to the voice of the Almighty speaking to us in the wind of the universe. And when it says yea, we act on it. When it says nay, you be still on it. That's one of the reasons why a lot of y'all are making messes in your life. Because the yea is telling you and you're saying and the nay is telling you and you're saying You follow what I'm saying? We got to start learning how to listen to our spirit. I want to speak to you today from the book of Ani. And for those of you who have placed your orders for the Hosea, Just be patient with us. They're all gone. We're sold out, and we have them on order, so they're back ordered. So those of you who are waiting for them to come, hopefully they'll be here within the next week. By the way, I spoke to our brother, Dr. Karanga, because he is the author of the Hosea, and he told me to give y'all his love. Oh, man. From the Hosea, the book of Ani, on page 54, section 4, it makes a very powerful statement, and the message I'm going to talk about today is not a happy message. It's not one of those kind you like to talk about, but I must talk about it. Okay, because it is a fact of life. And I don't talk about it much, but I'm going to talk about it today. Here's what it says. When the messenger of death comes to take you, let him find you ready to go to your resting place, saying, here comes one prepared for you. Or saying to the messenger of death, here I am, I'm ready. Do not say that I am too young to be taken. For death comes and seizes the baby at his or her mother's breast, as well as the man and woman who have reached an old age. Did y'all get that? Yes. When the messenger of death comes to take you, let him find you ready to go to your resting place. The question I want to ask you today for the subject is, are you ready to die? Now, I know some of y'all saying, whoa, because I don't talk about stuff like this much. You know, usually, unfortunately, we talk about messages like this at a funeral. Okay, but there's no need of waiting until you die to ask you, are you ready to die? This scripture, as I said, is not exactly what you'd call a happy thought. But it is about an inevitable fact. Guess what, brothers and sisters? Like it or not, you are going to die. Did y'all hear what I said? Regardless of your station in life, and I know some of y'all have done quite well. I know some of you have spent a great amount of time in making achievements to get to where you want to be in life. I know some of you have done great sacrificing to be sure that you save up some money that you hide away just in case of a rainy day. I know that many of you have earned a good reputation for yourself, and like I said, you've bought one of the most important assets that you can have, your home, your car, all of that good stuff. But you still gonna die. You're going to die. Because dying is not an upbeat thought, we try not to think about it. Especially when our young people try to talk to their parents about it. I remember when I used to say to my mom, Mom, do you have all your papers in order? And she would look at me and she said, why? I'm thinking ahead. I'm trying to see, being that I've done so many eulogies and I've worked with families making funeral arrangements, I see what families go through when they're in the funeral home trying to make arrangements. And y'all, that ain't no happy moment. I've seen tight-knit families almost pull out knives to cut each other when making funeral arrangements after mom was gone. I don't know if y'all ever seen anything like that. Folk who supposed to be so tight, man, when it comes to those final arrangements. Well, mama didn't want that. Yes, she did. No, she didn't. She told me she didn't want it, but she told me she did want it. Well, you thought you was mama's favorite anyway. Then it starts coming out. I ain't never liked you. It start coming out now, see? Well, you can leave. We don't have to ever speak to each other again. I just spoke to you because mama was here. Oh, that's the kind of stuff that I've seen, brothers and sisters. What's really deep about it is we try to avoid the thought. I'd say to my mom, are your papers in order? And she said, why, you trying to rush me out of here? No, Mom, I'm not trying to rush you out of here. I just want to know if everything is in order so that when you do breathe your last breath, I don't have to go through changes with other folk. Thinking about what are you prepared to leave for your family? Because we don't like to think about dying. Many people die and then we have to try to scrape up money to bury them because they didn't have insurance. Why didn't you have insurance? You know why? Because you don't want to think about dying. Look at somebody and say, you better think about it. Look at them again and say, you better think hard about it. What's going to happen on that day? And here's the real thing about it. It's not something that you can really schedule. You can plan for when that day comes. And if you plan for it when that day comes, everything will move smoothly. But you can't schedule when it's going to happen. For example, there's some of you listening to me right now. They're saying, I hear what Pastor's saying. I hear Doc, he bringing up a good point. Maybe I need to start putting some attention into it and prepare for maybe 15 years down the road. But you don't even know if you're going to be alive 15 hours from now. There is no guarantee, family, that you are going to be alive tonight. There's no guarantee I'm going to be alive tonight. You're going to go out of here, you're going to get in a vehicle, and you're going to try to go to your destination. And prayerfully and hopefully by the mercy and grace of God, you will get there. But there are a lot of people, man, that get in the car and never make it to their destination. And they didn't plan for that. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Person is a picture of health. Laughing with you, joking with you, and then suddenly have a massive aneurysm, massive heart attack, walking in the aisle of the supermarket, picking up a can of soup and drop dead on the floor. This is the kind of stuff that happens. You know why? Because you don't know when. It's your last moment. I know some of us think we do. I can tell some of y'all think y'all know when you're going to die. I can tell you do, because I can tell how the way you treat other people. You walk around with your nose up in there, like I'm all that. See, if you knew, trust me, if you knew that you had 1 hour to live, all that pride, ego, self-centeredness, all that kind of stuff would be gone. And you would be spending that last hour of your life making that time count. You'd be grabbing your children. You'd be grabbing your love. You'd be calling family, baby, I love you. Don't listen, I just want you to know I've always loved you. I know I talked about you. But I know I lied on you a few times, but I ain't got long to live now, but you know I love you. And then somehow we try to square things away with people when we know we get ready to check out of here. If you notice some people who mean as hell, when they start getting real old, they start treating folk better. Hey baby, how you doing? Yeah, I was just thinking about you. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I just called to see how you were doing today. 20 years ago, you didn't do that though. Oh, nigga, I ain't thinking about you. Yeah, go off on people, quick. Are you ready to die? I want you to think today. I want to make you guys think. Are you ready to die? The question that's asked in the text that we read offers us the possibility of looking at our lives differently. It offers us the opportunity of living with a deeper purpose, living with a wider vision. If you honestly spent more time questioning yourself, am I ready to die? If you honestly thought about the fact that today might very well be your last day on this planet, your entire value system would change. Why is it that the doctor has to say to us that if you keep eating that, you're going to die? Right. Talk about food. And then what's deep about it, it's like, because the doctor told us if we eat that, we're going to die, then we stop eating it. And you become real strict on your diet when it's too late. If you take a nut, you got cirrhosis of the liver because you've been drinking. Doctor said, man, I'm trying to tell you, if you take one more drink, it might be your very last. And it took the doctor to say to you, no more drinking, before you say, okay, I'm going to stop drinking. Or you're suffering from lung cancer, from smoke inhalation or smoking, and the doctor says you got to give that up. You ain't got but about 6 months if you don't change your way, and all of a sudden your habit of buying cigarettes no longer exists. It ain't a habit no more. Just like that. All of a sudden you got money now that you didn't have before because you stopped spending money on killing yourself. Even if we're not striving for riches, most of us spend a generous amount of time chasing after, striving for, in search of things that we cannot take with us. Did y'all hear what I just said? I'm serious. We spend some quality time going after stuff that we can do nothing about. If you're laying on a hospital bed, ain't nothing you can do with it. Y'all see how our value system is messed up? The things that really matter, how important are they to you? The things that don't matter takes up really a lot of our time. This scripture gives us the chance to see life from the point of view of death. and then consequently, hopefully, will choose to live with more significance. During my tenure in ministry, since 1973, I've spent more time in funeral services than most ministers because I used to service the largest funeral home in New Jersey, in North Jersey. Many times I would do as many as 4, 5, 6 funerals a day. And what's really, I can remember so clearly, so vividly, the funerals that I officiated where there was a casket, a body in the casket, and one person sitting on the pew in front of the casket. I've seen that so many times. And that's so sad that you can live on this planet every day of your life for 40, 50, 60, 70, even 80 years, and when you die, there's no one there to say they touched my life in a positive way. That's tragic. You might have heard me sing the song, touch somebody's life with your goodness. Touch somebody's life with your love. Touch somebody's life with your mercy. And God will bless your journey through this barren land. Touch somebody's life as you pass them. Why? Because you may never pass that close again. It's not far. Reach out in love and touch somebody. And you'll be surprised how soon that same touch will come back to you. When you can live for a whole week and you haven't done any good for anybody, in the space of 7 days, what good are you? Some of us are so self-centered that it literally takes the threat of death for us to stop thinking about ourselves and think about others. It'd be like the man who had a heart attack, and while laying in the hospital, the doctor told him that the damage to his heart was irreparable. And he has about 30 to 60 days to live. Then he decided to reach out to his 5 children to try to let them know how much he loves them. They didn't even want to come to his hospital bed because it was like, Daddy, you wasn't there. You ain't told me you loved me before. You have never done anything for me. You weren't, now you getting ready to die? And you want me to come? No. It's amazing, brothers and sisters. We can, and I'm talking about a lot of church folk too. We can, as I said the other Sunday, we can spend all this time sending up our timber, putting all this energy into our heavenly home, building all that, and don't spend no time down here where it matters. Because some people are so heavenly minded that they are no earthly good. I used to feel sad when I would eulogize, officiate funerals where there was nobody present but just 1 or 2 people. But then I began to see how blessed I was to know that somebody's life was touched by something that I did. And I hope, I could be wrong, But I'm a little bit excited about the day that I die. Because I know y'all going to be there. Y'all better be there. And y'all better cry. I ain't lying, y'all. I want y'all to snot and roll and scream and kick and carry on. And I want y'all to do all that. And then when you leave the cemetery, I want you to get yourself together and carry on. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Not wealth, not success, not power, not position as the world defines it. None of that matters when it's time for you to die. Lives that matter even after death. What did I just say? Even after you die. Check this out now. How you spend your time before you die matters after you die. Now there's some people that say, oh brother, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Well, let me help you for a moment. Just because your body, the temple, the house that you're in, ceases to exist, don't think that's the end of your energy. Energy does not cease. It simply moves on. Your spirit, your essence, your being that's contained in the house that you now live in. And many of you have probably seen me use the analogy of an aerosol spray can at a funeral to try to help you understand what happens at death. If you can see in your mind an air freshener can and you shake it up, you can hear the essence of it inside the can. And then when you push the valve at the top of the can, it releases the contents within the can into the room. So the essence within the can has become separated from the can. That's the only thing that happens when you die. Death is not a cessation of existence. It is a separation from your corporeal being and your incorporeal being. Am I making sense? So your incorporeal being is continuing on. Now, what state of existence will it have after you die? That depends on what you did before you died. But many of us ain't thinking about that. Many of us are trying to make it all happen now. The life that you now live, the one that you are now living, everybody say the earth walk that I'm in right now is not my only earth walk. Now, I don't know if y'all caught what you just said. I know y'all repeated it because I asked you to. But let's do it again. Say the earth walk that I'm in now is not my only earth walk. And you need to understand this. See, some people are not grabbing that reality. So therefore they're not developing. We used to sing a song as little children in Sunday school, this word, and you may have, tell me if you've heard this before. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. Did you ever sing that before? There's another verse of that song that says, every round goes higher, higher. Every round goes. What do y'all think they were talking about? They weren't talking about no ladder where you climb on steps. They were talking about life cycles. And every life cycle that you're on ought to prepare you to take you higher the next time around. This is what our ancient African Nile Valley ancestors taught us. They taught us that hell is having to come back and do it over again. They didn't teach us that hell was burning in some lake of fire. That's Christian thought. Everybody say, there is no lake of fire. What? What you mean? What you mean? Well, no, what you talking about? There is no lake of fire. See, we have to understand literature. For those of you who are bound into this, and the only reason why you're doing what you're doing to try to hold yourself together is because you're afraid to go to the lake of fire when you die. Well, let me help you. Let me get rid of that fear. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Because some people I've set free, they done lost their doggone mind. Well, I got to tell you the truth. See, because I found out that those people who, after they learned that this whole program of Jesus Christ dying for your sins and sin and you going to heaven and all that, once they found out that that did not really happen, and that, you know, like Cain did the other day. I couldn't believe that man did that. I don't know if y'all, I don't even know if you know what I'm going. Here's a man who's been accused. I'm not saying he did it. I wasn't there. I wouldn't know that. But he was accused of sexual harassment by 3 different women. And what does he say in response? Amazing grace will always be my song of praise. He actually sang this at the press conference. For it was grace that brought me liberty. I'll never know just why Christ came to love me so. Now check out this part. He's been accused of sexual harassment 3 times. So he ends that by saying, he looked beyond my fault and saw my need. Did anybody hear that besides me? Y'all heard it? What a thing to sing to a bunch of white folk. What a thing to sing. He looked beyond my fault and saw my needs. So in other words, God looked beyond my fault. Y'all need to look beyond my fault. That's what he's saying. You see, let me deal with this for a moment. I just got to deal with this for a moment. If the only reason why you are doing what you call, or what other people call, right, if the only reason why you're trying to do right is so you don't go to the lake of fire, you going anyway. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because your heart is not right. You see, when your heart is right, you don't have to worry about not breaking the law. As the text says, the law was made for the lawless. Am I making sense, people? So if I teach you that this whole program of religion that's been making you live right is a lie, and then once you find out it's a lie, that gives you a license to go do any daggone thing you can think about doing as far as hurting other people, you wasn't right in the first place. Religion does not change your heart. It controls your behavior, but it doesn't change your heart. And I got news to tell you today, brothers and sisters. It's your heart that determines how the universe is going to respond to you. And if I got a witness in here, You might be fooling some of us in here by putting on that mask of, You may be fooling us, but the universe sees your heart. And the universe will give back to you what your heart is giving it. You can come up in here and laugh and smile and everything, and then get in your car and say, I hate all in here. The universe sees that, man. Am I making sense? Woo! It's some serious stuff here we got to deal with. About 2 people die every second. So imagine how many people have died since I started talking this message. People just like you, people just like me, die. Heart failure. In fact, I just got a text this week that one of our sisters is taken to DePaul Hospital, Sister Kraut, with congestive heart failure. She didn't know she was going to be going to the hospital. Hope she stayed with us a while. You know, she's doing better. Yeah, that's good. You know, but see, the thing about it, man, is once the heart starts, you got to do some serious lifestyle changes. You know, see, when stuff like that happens, that's saying, okay, I'm telling you now. I'm trying to hip you to something here. All right. Now I'm gonna do this right here, right now on you, okay? I'm gonna do this, make you fall out. You're gonna pass out, okay? Cause you ain't treating me right. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do for you because of what you've been doing for me. I'm gonna give you a chance now. Okay? Have Richard Pryor say, okay? I'm gonna give you a chance. Now you got a chance to change. Now, next time, I ain't gonna be so kind. You follow what I'm saying? How this goes? Our body gives back to us what we give to it. Strokes, blood clots. Oh yeah, blood clots. Blood can't move through your arteries like they're supposed to, because there's a lot of plaque in there. Okay? Because all that ham. Eggs. Some of y'all do it 4 eggs every morning. Y'all hear what I'm saying? I know it tastes good. I know it. That's why you do it. You wouldn't eat it if it didn't taste good. All of me, or what's happening though in the process is you putting all these deposits in your arteries. Okay? And then what happens, some of y'all's blood is thicker than others. So what happens is trying to move through your arteries and it starts forming blood clots. And then the blood clots move to your brain and you have a stroke. Y'all hear what I'm saying? And your body speaks to you, say, I'm going to let you go this time. This was just a warning. Okay? You know, all that shortness of breath you've been having, I've been trying to tell you, but you ain't been listening. Because you're busy with things that ain't really important. Things that don't even really matter. Running all over the country doing everything you got to do except the things that really matter, like taking care of yourself. I'm talking to me too. Accidents. Young people. So don't think, brothers and sisters, it can't happen to you. Every time you eat, every time you put a fork full of food in your mouth, you have the propensity to choke to death. Yes. The things we take for granted. Every time you get in a car, another car could come through a red light and the last thing you see is something coming at you real fast. And that's how you go into eternity. So, the things we just, man. So, in essence, the text today is simply saying, so don't be surprised when death comes and says, hey, it's time to go. Will you be ready when it's time to go? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready right now? Think. If you be honest with yourself, you'd have to say, Doc, nah. There's some stuff I need to I need to take care of yet. Some stuff I need to put in place yet. If I was to die right now, what would happen to my family? If I was to die right now, what would happen in my estate? Now, some people have this attitude, I really don't care. I ain't gonna be here. But if you love your family, if you love your children, you may not have to, you won't have to deal with it anyway. They're the ones got to deal with it. Death is the biggest thing that happens in life. Did y'all hear what I just said? Death. Now, don't get morbid on me, even though I'm talking a morbid subject. I see some of y'all like, what I'm talking is life. Death is just as much a part of life as breathing is. You have to die. I know some of y'all were raised on this mentality, you ain't gonna die, you're gonna be caught away. You know how long folk been thinking that? When I was a little boy, one of the earliest things I remember my great-grandmother, Mother Walker, saying is, Jesus is on his way back. When I hear people say that, I say, don't say that. Don't say that. I know you might believe that, but don't say it, because you're lying. If he is on his way back, he is the slowest entity in the universe. You know how long he been coming? Where's he coming from? Better take him this long to get here. Come on, man. Some of us could have walked around the globe by this time. He's not on his way back. Stop saying that. I grew up, got married, had children. He still ain't here. Now I got 5 grandkids, and he still ain't here. And my oldest grandkids are old enough to have children now, and he still ain't here. So don't say that. You mess up my future when you talk like that. You know, you shouldn't have told me he was on his way back. You just said, get yourself ready for your future. Instead of got me looking for somebody y'all know how frustrating that is to be waiting for somebody and they ain't coming? Man. It's taking them so long, man. You know, that's like somebody saying they're going to come pick you up and you waiting for them. You pick up the phone, you on your way? What? What's taking you so long? And then they tell you, I'm on my way. You want to go and get undressed and relax, but you can't. You can't relax because they're on their way. You got what I'm saying? You can't relax. That's what has happened to us. We can't even focus on the things that matter because we're waiting to get caught away. You can't relax. Your ride is coming. Oh, boy, I tell you, so we get happy. We used to say, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. You know, look at somebody saying, no chariot coming. Only chariot that's coming to get you is the hearse. Yep. Is the hearse. Death is the most important thing in life, and people are not ready for it. If you have even a little bit of imagination, it should scare you into getting ready, doing what you got to do. You can use that fear to get you into the present. The fear will turn into true life, and you'll come home to your senses. Now, I don't want you to live in fear. I don't want you to live in apprehension. I don't want you driving down the street nervous, getting paranoid that somebody might come through every intersection and hit you. Because then you will have accident there. Okay? But I want you to accept the reality that at any moment you can check out of here. Everybody repeat this after me. And this is an African proverb. Repeat this. One who thinks and takes for granted that they will make it through the night is a fool. Did y'all get that? One who thinks and takes for granted that they will make it through the night is a fool. In other words, the proverb is teaching us that you have assumed that you are in control of the day you're going to die. You're not. If the people who have died unexpectedly knew that they were going to die when they did, they probably would not have left home that day. You follow me? Think about it. You have to breathe while you are unconscious for the hours through every night. That's some deep stuff, man. I mean, think about that. You are unconscious every night. In fact, when you are sleeping, you are in the closest state to death. You don't know what's going on around you. Okay? And without any control whatsoever, the God of creation is enabling you to breathe throughout the night, enabling your heart to beat throughout the night. And we lay down. You know, now I understand why they taught me this prayer as a child. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Those words, as simple and as nursery rhythmic as it might be, keeps us mindful that we're not guaranteed to wake up tomorrow. Isn't it deep that when we start getting older, we felt that was too immature or too childish to pray? In fact, the older we got, the less we stop praying before we go to bed. And some of y'all got to the point to where you don't pray at all. You just print it out. You put it up on the wall. And get in bed and say, there it is, Lord, read it. Oh, God. Wow. It's a miracle, brothers and sisters. Elder just said that. It's a miracle that you made it through the night. Some of you have sleep apnea. Y'all know what that means? That means you stop breathing. Whew. And God is kind enough to jumpstart your brain and say, breathe. And some of y'all have been sleeping, you awaken just like that. You're like, because you on your way to death, man. Y'all hear what I'm saying? The stuff we take for granted. Knowing God has to be with you, doing everything to keep you alive without any help from you, ought to give you joy. Did y'all hear what I just said? Knowing that God is with you, doing everything to keep you alive without any help from you. That's enough to, man, when you think about it, doggone it, you can't help if you got any kind of soul at all. When you think about that, man, every time you think about it, you ought to be saying, God, I thank you. God, I thank you. If you don't like the word God, whatever word you want to use, creator, universe, almighty, creatress, whatever, you better thank somebody that held you together when you weren't even trying to do it yourself. Don't ever lose sight of that, man. Don't get that conscious. Don't become that intellectual that you honestly think that you are the one that's running everything while you're asleep. You've abandoned yourself. You know you laying in bed. You ain't even thinking about yourself, man. You gone. That's what you call taking care of me when I can't take care of myself. Something has to keep your heart beating. Something has to keep your lungs breathing. And it's not you. So the question today is, when the messenger of death comes to take you, will you be ready? If the answer to your question now is, Brother Ray, if it happens right this minute, no, I'm not ready, then you need to do whatever adjusting you need to do. I'm not going to do like the old preachers just say, well, you need to come on up here right now. No, we're not going to do that. Because coming up here right now don't get you ready for death. You can come up here and make all kind of confessions and professions in front of everybody else and still not be ready. How do you get ready? In here and in here, in your heart and in your mind, between you and the Almighty. You don't have to impress me with none of that. See, that's the problem, y'all. We keep impressing people. That's the mask we wear. I'm not interested in your mask. I'm interested in your reality. Are you really squared away? Are you at peace, having done ma'at? When you stand in the judgment hall of Ma'ati and the ancestors and the Almighty weighs your heart against the feather of Ma'at on the scales and the balance, will you be able to stand there and say, hey, I'm all right, I ain't worried about a thing? Or will you stand there and say, you know what, I ain't never got to tell that brother I'm sorry for what I did. I knew good and well I shouldn't have ran my mouth about that dude, that sister. I ain't had no business talking about her like that. It'd be deep if you don't, So, question in my close is, when you think about your own death, and I know we don't do that often, so take a moment right now and kind of reflect on that. Just kind of take a moment right now and reflect. I know some of y'all got some great plans. I know you do. You don't already plan what you're gonna be doing for Thanksgiving and where you going and where you getting who you gonna go visit and vacation you getting ready to take. I know you done put all that in place. But right now I want you to think on the fact that if you were to breathe your last breath within the next 10 minutes, what are the things in your life for which you strive so diligently for that really don't matter? Things that really don't matter. I remember when I laid in my hospital bed, I told you guys about my accident, and I was at the point of death. I was in a coma for 3 days. And y'all know something? After I came out of that coma, the business that I was building wasn't all that important anymore. What was important was my family, my kids, my children, letting everybody know that I loved them, spending quality time. That's what was important. How much money was in my bank account, that wasn't important anymore. Really wasn't. All of a sudden, man, that wasn't important. It's like the person who finds out that they're dying, they got cancer. All of a sudden, all that stuff is not important. In fact, they want to give it away. Are you ready to die? Wow.